Alright, so quick update. Made some profit today, and I know I didn't do a stream yesterday. It's because I had some more cat issues. My poor cat had a scare about maybe going into the hospital again, or the ER, with his urinary tract disease, and didn't end up having to take him in. He seems to be okay, but it was a bit of a drama yesterday, so I didn't do an update. So today, quick update on the trades that were taken or losses, and also some changes and a bit of a scare on my expert advisor, my current expert advisor. I thought I found a weakness in it, and actually ended up turning it off for a few hours and closing some trades early. So I'm going to get into that and why right now. So let's start with profits for in the last 48 hours. $300 today on Robert's account. So it's reading $123,000 currently. So for this week, 1.9%, and for the month, 1.9% as well, since this is the first week. So this is a really good week at 1%. I'm happy about that. Slow and steady, making my way back up to the high water mark, which was on September 1st, which was around $129,000 on this account. Okay, so on my personal, so this is my personal account, and I just had a trade that closed out, and that was 1.13% on that trade, which is pretty good. I had a little bit of positive slippage on that trade, and so it ended up being about 38 pips for $234. So this week, $600 week. So far, most of those have been manual trades. I had a $20 profit from my expert advisor, which it's only $20 because I closed it out a little bit early. So this account's almost looking at about $21,000, and I plan on withdrawing $1,000 here probably this week, setting up a smaller account for a buddy, and so looking good on this account too. So let's go into the actual trades themselves. And you can see that this was a expert advisor basket here. You can see the first trade was entered after an inside candle, and it was actually a pretty good setup. It wasn't bad, and I actually liked it. I like this one better. And this was actually a trade that I took, a manual position. This was one I placed myself and came out with a small profit. I'm not sure if I showed that yesterday or not, or in my last stream. But I think I talked about that I saw there was some good support here from the candles on the M5, M15, and M30. So I took that for a small profit. And then the expert advisor entered a trade here. Now you could say that maybe wasn't the best one because it didn't break the previous low, but it did reach it though. It did match it. It was pretty dang close, and so I didn't mind a setup there. It was really close to taking profit here on this pullback after this trade entered and shot back up, but wasn't quite enough, and then fell again, entered on a third position, and then it gradually started making its way up, almost closed out again here, fell back down, and then later on it would have closed out, but I actually ended up closing it a little early. I was getting a little bit worried about this trade because of how it was ranging in this area, and it was taking too long, and I felt like something was going to happen soon, either a big push up or a big push down, and I was wrong. I was wrong on closing out my trade early, so you can see that they closed out right there, right before the push up. So my trades would have closed out in this area up here for a total profit of about 50 or 60 pips. So I closed them early, got a little bit scared out of them because of how long the actual trade was taking, and or the basket was taking, and I closed out at about $20 profit. So, sometimes we make calls to protect our account, and I made one today, and I'm fine with that. It's too bad I closed it out early, but it was a preventative type of action that I took, and so I shouldn't kick myself over it. Alright, so the next trade was a short position. Now this one was based on what I was seeing at this or the kind of action that I was seeing for a lot, and that's one reason why I closed this position out, was because I was seeing a lot of not volatility, because it wasn't really volatile in this area, but there was a lot of ranging going on, up and down in this entire area in here. Also, it's still continuing to go on, where price keeps hitting the 1.655 level and bouncing around the 1.65 level down here. So it's like this 50 pips that it's having trouble getting out of in here, and keeps jumping back and forth in it. And it started all the way back in this area right here, where it went down up here, went back down, and you can see that it's been going in this type of range in here. And so I wanted to try to capitalize on that, and that's why I entered a position when I did. And the position was taken really on the M5. You can see the inside candle set up here after a push up. I entered slightly late on it. It wasn't that much. It was about 2 pips late right here from the actual, where the actual entry would have been, which is here. So 2 pips isn't a lot, and I didn't think it was going to be massive. But unfortunately, it shot up from there. I was considering entering again here at this point, but it was too close. It was only about 15 pips from this area to from my entry to where I was looking at another inside candle. It turns out that it would have been a good idea, but it's still too close. I want it to be at least 20 pips, so I'm not at risk of having my trades or my baskets trades too close together, or my grid too close together. Then I considered it again after this candle, and this nice wick on this candle showing some resistance again up at that same place. And I still continued to hold on to it. I just wanted it to push up potentially more, but then that same range that I was talking to you about before was in effect. Eventually it did fall back down, and I closed out the trade at 20 pips, giving me a profit of, like I showed before, it was about $230, but this shows $224. All right, so it was overall it was a good day. $20 from these three trades, which would have been more, but it didn't work out that way. And then at 20 pips profit, which was $200 from the manual trade that I did later on. All right, so the scare that I was telling you guys about, this was in regards to the expert advisor that I run, so the RMI expert advisor. And it's really the reason why I closed this out early is because there was a problem with the idea of closing out at 6% loss if I have a losing basket. So if I have a bunch of trades that are in loss at 6%, I close all the trades and move on to the next opportunity. Well, I did a test with this idea on the pound Canadian dollar, and this test was done with an every tick model, so it is fairly accurate, up to 90% of what I can expect, with all my same settings that I have that I'm using currently on my expert advisor. And this is what it showed me from 2017, so from April 2017 to current date. And it showed me losses. Now I was tested this originally from 2010 to 2017 current date, and it did show some losses. Overall gain, it was there though. Like it did show an overall gain. Let me see if I can find it. My desktop is a complete mess right now. Let's see. I'm not going to look for very long if I can't find it right off the bat. Here it is. Okay, so this was what I'm talking about. So this is the test from 2010 to 17 current date with a 6% cutoff. Now it says it's 20% drawdown. I'm not sure how accurate that actually is, but my expert advisor was closing trades at a 5% when trades reached a 5% drawdown. You can see the overall that it's going up, right? It's going up, but there are a lot of times where it goes down and it stays down for a while, where there's no real equity gains for potentially months. And so that kind of scared me a little bit to see if this type of 6% cutoff would last in the longer term. So what I came down to, I made a decision, and the decision was to turn back on my expert advisor because these results here can't really be trusted. Why can't they be trusted when all the settings are the same and I have a 6% cutoff on the test compared to my live forward test or forward trading? You can see that with Robert's account here, I've been trading his account since April, and I've been using the modification, which is using 3 pairs together, and once they reach a specific dollar amount of profit, then all pairs and trades close out. And that's been going since April of 2017. So I ran this test at Oanda at that same broker of Robert's account, and it's showing losses during that period of time. So from April on, and it's showing 2 losses in particular, 6%. Well, that's what it says, 6% loss cutoffs. And so I don't think this is a very accurate test, because I didn't have a loss in May of 2017. You can see my results in May were great, 4.98%. So why is the test not showing correctly? Well, it could be a data issue, because initially when I ran my test, it was on an older, my last computer laptop, and I haven't been able to make sure that my tests or my strategy tester data is correct. I'm going to probably have to reinstall some stuff to try to make sure that it's reading correctly. Or it's just because I have 3 pairs, and since I have 3 pairs running as and working together, I can't run that in the strategy tester, at least not very easily. And so the results in this test that you see here are different than they will be in live trading, because it only is considering 1 pair. So that's why I continue to keep running my expert advisor, because if the test is showing losses in 2017 when I did not have losses, that means that I can't really trust this test that I'm seeing here, which was what scared me in the beginning, and wondering if I needed to really make adjustments and changes to fix the problem. So it looks like I'm going to continue trading as I am with my 3 pairs and see what happens. I'm going to evaluate if once I have another loss, which I will have another a 6% loss cutoff at some point. I don't know if it's going to be next week, if it's going to be next month, if it's going to be next year. It will happen at some point, and I need to see what happened, why, and how it can be fixed, and will it happen again, and how soon, all that kind of stuff. So it's important for me to see how far my losses happen from each other. And so that's what I'm going to be looking at. And so the next 6% loss cutoff that I have will be very important, and because it will give me a little bit more data to work with for potential changes in the future. All right, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Keep in mind that the 6% cutoff is still something in the works. Like, I'm using it currently. Like, it's currently in in movement or set on my expert advisor, but it's something that may be subject to change in the future. So for those of you that are using my strategy or some sort of mod of it, keep in mind that that may be something I may change in the future. Alright, so that's pretty much all I wanted to talk to you guys about today. Looks like things are going well, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. That's about it. Alright, thanks guys, bye.